One of the biggest problems, I think, with activism today is activists themselves. And what I mean by that is that we have these more extreme activists who take a, unfortunately, pretty front and center stage in activist culture, who wrap their entire worldviews around their one cause and struggle. Now, for feminists, it could be where everything is either a sign of, the male conspiracy to rule the world or a sign of female oppression ending, and everything is related to that battle. And the same could be said for any particular group. I'm sure for the Ku Klux Klan it's the same, not to relate these groups, but any quote-unquote activist group, whatever they're activisting for. Now, to be fair, the Ku Klux Klan is probably more of a hate group, but the point is, they will too define their entire worldview around the struggle between the races. Now, everything's a sign of minorities doing this and that or whatever. The rest of reality revolves then around their struggle, and they lose a clear-sighted worldview. They lose the ability to see compromise, to see other angles of solution. They pretty much become driven to their one goal, to the exclusion of all else. And you're never actually going to solve problems that way. Reality is based around compromise. It's based around talking things out and working it out with people on a level where I can't get everything I want, you can't get everything you want, but maybe we can both get enough of what we want to work together. And you're never going to have some kind of magical ending to these sorts of things where our activist cause is right and our cause completely wins and triumphs in every way and the other side is absolutely thrown down for all time. There's never that ending for any group, ever. It's never going to happen. Women's rights groups, they will fight and they'll get more rights and acceptance and stuff, but there will always be a disparity to some extent in one direction or another somehow. There'll never be absolute equality on the truest level. And that shouldn't exactly be a bad thing. But what it should be is a warning that you can get caught up in this fight forever. It can become the totality of what you see. And you can become one of those extremists who, I'm sure everybody out there has seen them, where you make a comment on some issue that they're talking about and you're now part of the enemy. But I was just making a point about this one thing. No, you're a feminazi conspiracist monster and you probably support the entire Illuminati or something. It doesn't matter. The point is that if you fight these people, they label you as the enemy and now you're part of this vast conspiracy. If you join them, well then you're in this holy crusade against this vast and towering monolithic conspiracy that stands against them. And it pretty much doesn't matter what group you're talking about. They each sort of have turned it into that form, where what they're up against is somehow more powerful than them. The Christians really do this, although it's baffling. Where there's an entire crusade against faith and Christians, and it doesn't matter that we basically are the most dominant faith in America and that we have complete religious freedom and all of this, but no, there's a vast conspiracy against us and they're towering and they're overpowering us and we're losing. It's like, they'll be like, oh, the war on Christmas. I don't see anybody making Christmas illegal. You can tell me that there's a war on Christmas the minute that some police officers come into your house and take your tree away. Then we can talk. But right now, it's just like with every other activist group I see now, where it's not their response is proportional to the threat they're up against, but where they all are the oppressed minority against this vast, powerful conspiracy keeping them down or advocating whatever thing they're against. And none of that's healthy. Activism should be about creating realistic change in the world. It should be about making progressive steps towards a better solution. Not about some black and white crusade against everything you disbelieve. Because you'll never create real, lasting, healthy change that way. And I think if we were all really going to want to change the world, it should be in a manner that lasts through the ages and not kept with fear and propaganda and lies. I think that's the beginning of a better society. Don't you think? Fuck it, we're doing it live.